I took a leap of moving out from FMCG industry to e-commerce. And after 10 years of working in an MNC, I moved to a company where my appointment letter and a checkbook was the company.
So how did you take like कि हाँ मैं कर लेता हूँ ये risk ले लेता हूँ Unilever छोड़ के I'll go there. What made you to do that?
I did write about myself, right? That I'm a curious mind. So it's just the curiosity. The decision was much more made more simpler by just meeting the people I'm going to work with. You have to unlearn your leadership style of the place you come from. Working in Amazon is like working in thousands of startups at the same time. So we have 16 defined leadership principles. Have backbone, disagree and commit. I feel e-commerce is still in very early stages. India will have its own innovations too. But at the same time, there are good trends of e-commerce in India, in US, in China, and other parts of the world, which we'll also adopt.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Pursuit of Leadership podcast. Today I'm very excited to have Kapil Hathi with us. He is the CFO of Amazon India, the world's largest e-commerce company all of us already know. He's a rank holder chartered accountant with almost 20 years of experience working in Unilever and in Amazon. He is the person who is a passionate leader with a very curious mind. I am very happy to have you along with us, Kapil. Thank you so much for giving me time and opportunity.
Now, thank you, Nidhi. Thank you for the opportunity, and hello to all the viewers.
So, Kapil, what's your story? Tell us, take us through your childhood and your professional journey.
I am born in a Gujarati family in Mumbai. I have 3 elder sisters.
Hi.
And when I look back at my journey, childhood journey, I can only feel grateful and feel privileged with the support my parents have given to all 4 of us. As childhood, I think we were surrounded by principles of and values of honesty, hard work, taking care of each other, and taking care of and supporting people in the community. So that's the family and background I come from. I was always interested in economics, and you can see the combination of a Guju with Mumbai background. That's my journey as a childhood and growing up. I have been very fortunate to build really good friends during my college days, who are still closest part of my family. As a professional, again, I would go back and say it's just been a journey of good fortune and good people helping me on my way. I was fortunate that in my articleship days, I got really 2 good firms who helped me. First, during my undergraduation days and internship, I got Sudhir K. Parekh and Company. It's a Mumbai-based CA firm specializing in taxation. And later on, when I graduated, KPMG gave me an opportunity to do the latter part of my articleship with them. And that was my first experience working in large corporate and auditing MNC companies. From there, I think Unilever gave me an opportunity to join as a management trainee after my CA. And Unilever is where I built my foundation as a leader in my professional life. Unilever not only gave me like a fully paid 12-month of management training on the job, but it also helped me build foundations on multiple pillars of finance. I started my life with corporate finance as financial accountant of HUL, to running a business finance job in the foods business, to going into Philippines and working for their customer development finance and learning about that culture and how do you run sales in a different Unilever geography, to coming back and running supply chain for Unilever's largest operations in North, in Haridwar, which is a cluster of 8 factories. So Unilever, I spent 10 years in Unilever, which built this foundation of finance for me. I took a leap of moving out from FMCG industry to e-commerce. And after 10 years of working in an MNC, I moved to a company where my appointment letter and a checkbook was the company. So I jumped from Unilever to a joint venture between Catamaran, which is Narayan Murthy's family office, and Amazon. And they were starting a company called Cloudtail and a parent company of their own. And they offered me the CFO job for that. So I do recollect going in the first month there and realizing that I will need to pay my own salary. And I will figure out.
There was no other employee, is it?
No, I was the first employee. So it was
Wow.
my checkbook was the company when I joined the company. And then, of course, we hired leaders in the 2 companies I was leading. The CEO got hired, and we hired all other employees. We built the IT system, we built the offices, we built the administrative team, we built the finance function. And both of the companies are very successful. I think Cloudtail went up to be a very large part of Amazon, $1 billion plus sales. and eventually got acquired by Amazon, I think recently in 2022. But I had a wonderful journey there. I spent almost 5 years with that company, and then I was fortunate to be absorbed by Amazon as a
Hmm.
leadership role for their India operations, which is India supply chain. I used to call that as as a team which ships the boxes from the warehouse to customer's house. Right,
Hmm.
the physical part of e-commerce was something I supported for India and later for Middle East and North Africa. I got then an opportunity to go to Seattle, which is the base for Amazon Global, and
Yeah.
lead worldwide customer service. That was a good opportunity to now work in this large, giant organization and have the front row seat of how do we work on customer experience, manage customer service, which is based in like multiple geographies
Hmm.
and across all continents of the world, and work across time zones. I had a great stint in Seattle, and last year I got an opportunity to come back as a CFO for Amazon.in, and here I am.
So how did you take like कि हाँ मैं कर लेता हूँ ये risk ले लेता हूँ Unilever छोड़ के I'll go there. What made you to do that?
Yeah, I did write about myself, right? That I'm a curious mind. So
Hmm.
it's just the curiosity. So when I met the people, the founders seemed very genuine and very good leaders.
Hmm.
So I think the decision was much more made more simpler by just meeting the people I'm going to work with.
That's true. So Kapil, आपकी life में जैसे over so many years and also then you shifted to US for a while. So if you can share something which had a profound impact from you on you कि जिसके लिए आपकी it impacted your thinking process or it made a significant impact on how you work.
Yeah. So I'll give you two examples, Nidhi. One,
हाँ.
I'll talk to about impact of your first manager, right, in early
Hmm.
days, and then I'll talk about working in different cultural or different environments,
हाँ.
to help you. So the first, I would just go back and my first leader at HUL in my stabilized job after management training was Madhav Samant, and that department used to be a high pressure department for someone newbie like me doing the
Hmm.
first role. It was requiring a 23-year-old to run the financial accounts of a
Hmm.
large company like HUL, migrate that company into this SAP mode, which HUL is
Hmm.
now in,
Yeah.
and manage so many multiple local gap versus UK gap reporting,
Hmm.
no, along with so much of controllership requirement. So there was a lot of stress, but I could always see how my leader worked towards saying,
Hmm.
if I have to get best out of Kapil, how can I help him create an environment which is secure, safe, for him to go and experiment, for him to go
Okay.
and do this in his style.
Hmm.
And that's the piece which had a very big impact on me.
Hmm.
So while he would have his ideas, he will always create an environment where I could give my best. And I think that's been a big influence in the way I have led people in my team. Now, how do you give people freedom to be able to express themselves?
Hmm.
The other piece is working in different geographies. I think the leadership lesson for me here was, as a leader, आपको जब
Hmm.
नए नए रोल करते हो, and the first thing you have to do is unlearn. You have to unlearn your leadership style of the place you come from, and then you have to be curious to learn about these softer skills needed in the job you are getting into. Hard
Hmm.
financial skills are easy to acquire. In fact, you will build onto those in the first few years of your career. I think when you get into a leadership position, when we are managing people, what you have to always work is how are you building the softer skills.
Yes.
I think that's the piece, that's the beauty of doing different roles, that you have to
Hmm.
unlearn a lot and then be curious to learn new things. I think, and maybe you fail and then you try again and then you succeed.
Acha, Kapil, tell me about what's the life and day of CFO of Amazon India.
Life and day of a CFO in Amazon India is no different than any other person in Amazon in India. I think we are very focused on, at Amazon, we believe, Nidhi, about working on things which do not change, no,
Hmm.
rather than new trends which comes through. So if you'll ask somebody or me in Amazon a few years back when I joined them, or now,
Okay.
or even after 10 years from now, I'm sure we will say these three things. We will say our
Hmm.
customers would always want more selection. They will never
Hmm.
come back and say, Amazon, can you show me less options to buy?
Can you realize option? कोई भी नहीं बोलेगा चाहिए
Yeah,
ज़्यादा हमें choices.
yeah. Our customers will always say, can you make my life more convenient than what it is today? They're
Hmm.
not going to come back and say, can you make it harder for me to shop on Amazon?
That's
They'll
true.
always want us to be more convenient, be it speed of delivery, be it one
Hmm.
click service, be give them a no cost EMI, or giving them an installment services, or giving them an installation services if they're buying a white goods. They'll always want more convenience of shopping, and
Hmm.
they'll always want more value. They'll never say, "Oh, Amazon, you are charging too less. Can you
Hmm.
please ensure that your system charges more?" So I think that's the principle we focus on. Every
Hmm.
employee, be it me and the finance team or we in the business team, our focus is always about how do we get more selection, how can
Hmm.
we bring all the convenience to the customers, and how can we ensure that the cost to serving our customers is low, such that we can give them a sustainable value. So that's
Oh,
my day as well, Nidhi. It's like any other employee comes on.
a significant business decision which you have driven, and here you are very successful of how things have shaped up.
The culture which I try to drive, what we try to build in Amazon is how can you create a founder mode. So
Hmm.
working in Amazon is like working in thousands of startups at the same time, right? Each
Wow.
team is like a founder in their own. They have their new innovation going in. So
Hmm.
we are like an innovation factory. We would want
Hmm.
to build newer and newer innovations, newer ideas. And innovations is not always launching a new product. Innovation is
Hmm.
just doing something where if a customer was taking extra efforts, how do you eliminate effort? If a
Hmm.
customer had this facing this defect, how do you eliminate those defects in an
Yes.
innovative way, in a scalable way? And hence, a big part of my leadership job is to ensure how do you keep the founder mode on? How do you
Ah.
help bring clarity of decision making so that teams can be founders versus what we call as a day two company where you have to now seek approval from multiple layers. Now,
Hmm.
so how do you bring that mental model for the teams? The other thing you can build in culture is can your leaders or everybody in your team approach you when they feel something is not going
Hmm.
well? So we have a leadership principle which says have backbone, disagree and commit. That's one of the 16 leadership principles. That's the uniqueness
Okay.
of Amazon.
Hmm.
So we actually rate people high if you show a strong backbone in
Hmm.
places where you disagree. We go back and say Amazon is not to build social cohesion. It's not that Nidhi has a different point of view, Kapil has a different point of view. So चलो थोड़ा सा नो negotiate कर लेते हैं बीच में और कुछ average काम कर लेते हैं, right?
Hmm.
So that Nidhi is also happy and Kapil is also happy. We will go back and say no. Let's bring data to the room, or both of you present your point of view as hotly debated topic, and one of you then finally agree to disagree and commit. No?
Ah.
And in many occasions, we try to see can the manager disagree and commit when the lead teams are very passionate about certain data, right? And then you run with that. So that leadership principle helps you bring high bar, high standards. At the same time, helps you, create leaders for future. So I think
Hmm.
that's what we do. It one is how do you bring clarity of what we do, what do we stand for,
Yes.
and then create an environment where people can stand up for the ideas they have. I think that's the job for any leader, whether the CFO or the CEO of the team.
Which is very cool.
And that's what we call Amazon make. We have a saying in Amazon. We say it's
Hmm.
always day one in Amazon. It's not day two. And the way we define day two is where you have to go to multiple people for approval, where
Hmm.
you have these restrictions which doesn't allow you to innovate, or which takes longer time to give me all 100% of the data, only then I'll decide. This can
Hmm.
be risk, show me the ROI, and you just beat the data up to death before you make a decision. Now, to what's a day one mindset. In a day one mindset, we talk about two-way doors. Is this decision reversible? If it's
Hmm.
reversible, then why are we not taking decision faster? Do we have 70% of the data to make a decision? Then it's a good way to bring 30%
Hmm.
of gut. So other leadership principle we have is called are right a lot. So leaders are right a lot of times, right? But not always. So leaders should be able to listen to the staff, disconfirm their
Hmm.
belief, but at the same time they should be comfortable to make decision in absence of full data. So it's what we
Hmm.
call as bias for action as well. No, so are we looking at two-way doors, one-way doors? Are we having bias for action? Are we unblocking a lot of what you called as bureaucracy? No, that's what we call as day one. And again, we go back and ask people if you see a lot of day two. Sometimes we'll write a mail say day two buster, and then everybody will come back and say, okay, how do we correct the operation? So I think decision making does happen in Amazon in a not so cohesive manner, but we use these leadership principles, these ways of working, these cultural elements of Amazon a lot to make decisions at Amazon.
Even I like your point on 70% data. नहीं तो क्या होता है, see, 100% data actually mostly business decisions के लिए बहुत ही कम situation में available होंगे. But then people just then delay, and this is across the organizations.
Yes.
So this is something we can learn a lesson that it's not always we will have perfect data, but then go with a combination of following a data and a gut. Like going now, see, you spotted 10 years back कि online commerce होने वाला, you jumped into that. So now going forward, next couple of years, क्या trends दिख रहे हैं in the entire space?
I think when you look at India, first, I think we should just see how blessed we are to be in this era of India. The demographic dividend which India is enjoying, the growing income levels, which is bringing a large population having discretionary spends versus what was present, say, 20 years back, to the growing innovation, the technology which is coming up, which is breaking a lot of barriers which earlier used to exist. Now, I think India is the overall, and the capital which is coming to India, just the stability is doing so much of capital. I think this is a great recipe for innovation in the country. So I think we will in the next 10 years see a lot more innovation. People are going to try new things. They're going to sound crazy at the start. Some of them will work, many of them will fail. But that innovation is going to bring a big impact, improving lives and livelihoods in India. So in that context, I feel e-commerce is still in very early stages. While it's now almost, you can say, 10 plus years in the country, and it's growing fast, and people can say that no, it's become a very large industry for India. I still feel it's very early. There are still hundreds of millions of people who are not onboarded to shopping on e-commerce, right? There is still a lot of categories which are in a very early stage of penetration in online versus offline, right? And it's globally. It's not like there is a great benchmark saying that this country has already reached to the best potential of e-commerce and India will reach there. Every country which has e-commerce for multiple years, they are seeing e-commerce grow much faster. So they are also in a progressive growth phase of e-commerce. Hence, India is very early. If you are focused on selection, if you are focused on making it convenient, if you are focused on getting value for customers, you will be able to catch these trends on time.
Gen AI or your machine learning or analytics. So what are the trends there in your industry?
I think more than the particular trend, right? What we can be assured about is it will democratize industries and businesses a lot. So 10, 15 years back, before e-commerce, it used to be a company which had distribution power in India. What had a big advantage, right? You could never beat them. Let's look at my earlier employer, right? Unilever. They would have a big advantage of being able to go to every small villages in the country, which if a new brand would want to come through, they will have to pay through a large amount to go through distribution. E-commerce brought a disruption saying that you can be a direct-to-consumer brand. You don't need to be, right? And you have seen so many D2C brands in the last few years, and they have scaled. And when they have got some scale, then they have gone offline, and they had to invest something. Generative AI will bring an even larger revolution there. I think it will multiply this change. For example, you can actually put 3 or 4 photos and tell generative AI app to create an advertisement for you, and it can make an ad. So you don't need to pay thousands of rupees or lakhs of rupees to make a product ad. You can make the ad. It can help you automate and optimize your advertisement investments on online advertising channels. You are in finance function, right? Generative AI can actually help you find insights of what's working, what's not working in your finance, in your business model. Now, if you have the right data set to help them give you throw that analysis for you. It can help you optimize your sales team. Like, for example, if somebody wants to run advertising at Amazon, they may no longer need an account manager to help them. They may have their own personal chatbots who can then optimize for their business, looking at the data of what marketplace does and say, can you launch this because this will have a higher percentage of chance of success. What you would see is they will help smaller businesses, new entrepreneurs compete with very large players on a level playing field. So I believe technology is will democratize this whole opportunity of commerce for everyone. I think, Gen AI is one development of AI, but Because anything which you'll see coming up out of Gen AI versions, I think it's going to be bring this revolution faster.
Quick commerce has disrupted like last 2 years, may lot many players, and we are all change our habits of buying everything at a short notice. So, in terms of like as a, what kind of trend which you are seeing through, whether it will further blow up, expand, it's here to stay. What is something I know Amazon also launched Days and they're working towards it. What's your take on that quick commerce space?
So it's again an innovation. It's again an innovation idea with the same principle, right? Can you
Hmm.
get a good selection? Can you get it at good convenience, which is 10 minutes shopping? And can you do it at a value which the customers would
Hmm.
want in over long run, right? That's the innovation, that's the experiment. I don't think quick commerce has found all the three yet, but it has been definitely a successful experiment. And you can see more players getting in as you see
Hmm.
customers being traction too. And while you and I, because we live in metros, we see the impact of quick commerce. It's really relevant for metros people. But there is also large population which is not in tier one, tier two cities, and tier one cities or metros. For them, they don't know what quick commerce is. For them, still the e-commerce business works. But for metro people, I do see the convenience come through. We don't
Yes.
have that much of time. It helps us not plan this purchase. Now you can just decide on the fly
Inform.
and get an order. So it's a
Hmm.
convenience which customers are getting used to. It is an addictive convenience which is also coming through, right? And it has to also at the same time to grow, find the right balance of what's the value,
Hmm.
what's the right price, what's the right convenience fee to be added to this, and what selection do I need. I think those the second and the third part is still coming through. I think the 10-minute or say a 15-minute delivery is broadly now established principle that customers want that service, right?
Hmm.
But what selection do they want? I think experiments are still on. Do they need
Yeah.
5,000 top selection? Do they need 10,000? Do they need 50,000 selection? I think that will come through. And what's going to be the business model? How sustainable it's going to be such that you can offer the value on a
Hmm.
consistent basis, say 5 years out, right?
Hmm.
I think those things are still being worked out in this industry. We are excited. The fact that customers love selection, convenience, speed, and price. I think that fuels innovation at Amazon. So yes, we are also we've got into a pilot in Bangalore in certain pin codes with a business called Amazon Now, and hopefully you will see that in your city soon.
It's also about a lot of competition, right? And this is not like a lot of competition in this quick commerce space. Even over 10 years, a lot of people have entered in online commerce space also. While Amazon is the super strong player, but how do you handle the competition?
I think that's where again a leadership principle helps us, Nidhi. You cannot control what competition does, but
Hmm.
what you can focus on is what the customers would want. You will ensure that you are the best version of the alternative which the customers can get. And I think
Hmm.
that's what the paranoia should be of any company. What you use competition analysis is you should be inspired by their success. So if you
Hmm.
find something is working well and the competition is doing well, or they have found an innovation, I think it's important to also be humble to uh, see what's working and
Hmm.
be inspired by them. But you cannot be obsessed with competition. You cannot do a particular thing because competition ne kiya.
There are many companies fails because every time they get distracted or they change their strategy because what the next company is doing. But if
Yes.
you change and get distracted so many times and don't do what you are good at, that also can backfire, and it also brings in complexity. I mean, it's your own brands, then you have your third party brands, and you're obsessed about offering selection, so you offer so many. So how do you as a CFO or as a leadership team balance between the choices and the selections and the complexity of operations?
I think that's where you build tools with scale in my head. So if the principle is we want to bring selection, then you
Hmm.
create a foundational requirement that we are going to require processes which will scale for millions and tens of millions of selection,
Hmm.
right? It's not going to be 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, or 10,000. I think that's where a lot of our product launches goes through a unique process in Amazon which we call as write a PR FAQ. So the product manager would write a press release of what this product is going to be launched at scale,
Okay.
which will be
Hmm.
like a news article,
Hmm.
and then has like a series of 10 pages worth of FAQs saying that who's the customer, what problem are you trying to solve,
Hmm.
Why do you believe this is the best product for the customer in the market today? How are you going to run it operationally? How are you going to scale it if it's successful? How are you going to do this sustainably?
Hmm.
Only once that idea gets approved, then the coder starts writing the code on building the product. So
Hmm.
it can be immensely frustrating for a product manager at Amazon to get the idea passed because there is huge amount of
Hmm.
I'd say review and gatekeeping we do before we launch something. Of course, we allow them to innovate everywhere, but we still go back and ask them, have you thought through this no
Hmm.
customer idea in full, and will it scale? Then when you write the code, generally you end up into a space that if the product is successful, you're able to scale with this complication of now millions of selection.
But it is also about this one more dimension. When we say about selection, it's a balance between the own products, which could be more profitable, versus some of the third party products. So, how do you bring out that balance in the mix?
So there's only marketplace. It's a seller space. But even if you look at retail or which is in US, right? We let the customer choose. So
Hmm.
when you go to Amazon, there is this button called buy now or add to cart,
Hmm.
right? And there are below multiple sellers. So there is an algorithm which says what's the best value for the customer. So even in
Hmm.
US, which has retail operations as well as 3P
Hmm.
operations, it will go back and pick up saying that what's the best value. It's completely again coded, so it's worked from the way to look at what will benefit the customer the best. Okay, and then even when US has its own retail operations, they
Hmm.
have to compete with the 3P sellers.
You mentioned about the principles we follow every day. We also mentioned about the uh, no bureaucracy, day one approach. Is there anything more to the culture or success which differentiates you and your teams?
No, I think leadership principles first, and the foremost leadership principle is customer obsession.
Hmm.
I think you will see that. And when I say customer obsession, we are not a team which will looks at what we call as outputs.
Hmm.
So you won't see the team obsessing over show me this week's sale. ये महीने का target हुआ कि नहीं हुआ. In fact, we very few compensation or remuneration is also on meeting a target. Even compensation at
Okay.
Amazon is a long-term compensation. When you join Amazon, you get a 4-year compensation statement, right? Which
Hmm.
and it's not variable based on individual company or product from performance. It is based on you as a performance over a period of time, and no, and how the share performs at a global level. So a
Hmm.
belief is a lot more about focusing on outputs. What we focus is on a lot of controllable inputs. So, for example, I cannot control on what's going to be the sale of next week. That's going to be for customer to decide.
Hmm.
But if I am a category leader, I can focus on how can I improve selection for my
Hmm.
customers. I can focus about was my seller pricing competitively in the market. How should I account manage them so that they can get the best tools so that they can
Hmm.
price well on the marketplace? How do we ensure that the customer gets the best speed and convenience of shopping there? Right? And what are the partnerships we need to build as marketplace? If we
Hmm.
focus on that and we obsess over that every week, every day, right? How are we resolving customer complaints?
Hmm.
Are they getting solved in the first attempt? Are we taking multiple attempts of the customer to solve their no, complaints against Amazon? If we focus on those controllable inputs, we strongly believe outputs will happen. So whenever a sale is also slower, we don't focus on saying that how can you improve sale. I mean, it's easier way to improve sale is run a new event where everybody can come, right, and run a marketing event and bring sellers
Hmm.
to practice. But that's short term. Our focus would be okay. What are the inputs which we are missing out, and can we just start focusing on improving that week over week, year over year? I don't know if you would have read a recent press release by Amazon. Yesterday we went and made referral fee for items below 300 as zero. So
Oh.
we see it's just same flywheel, right? If we could reduce cost to serve, and we
Hmm.
could serve sustainably a large selection. So we now want to focus back and saying that there is a large cohort of customers who would
Hmm.
like to see items priced below 300 on our
Hmm.
marketplace a lot more. Our sellers would benefit from a lower fee to bring that selection. So they can
Hmm.
offer value to the customers, and we have a good operations to be able to deliver it fast. So if that's making money overall, why don't we go back and give this back to the sellers and hence the customers? So we did
Hmm.
a large fee change of saying we'll make the referral fee from Amazon zero for 0 to 300 items.
Okay. But how do you then, the last question in this section, how do you balance the profitability? As a financial person, that will be important to you, isn't it?
So yeah, there are ROI metrics, right? There are very a strong focus on sustainability. That's why you started, right? You can give a gold coin in every box you ship,
Yeah.
and customers would love you for that, but you won't be
Hmm.
able to do it for long. So there is a principle we always use in Amazon is like, is this going to be sustainable, or
Hmm.
are you guys just going to be able to do it for 2 3 months and then you're going to fizzle it out? That's what we don't get into, Nidhi. But again, coming back to the India opportunity, India's demographic, it's growing
Hmm.
middle class. The
Yes.
opportunity of e-commerce in India is huge. I think we're still
Hmm.
getting started. Hence, if you build a business which is focused on these three fundamentals,
Hmm.
what customers love, it you will not only have a large business, but you'll also have a profitable business. No, and you have to always focus on waste. So if we have this philosophy of cost to serve, and
Hmm.
we review it very closely about, are we able to reduce the cost to serve every year, every quarter, so that we can afford these lower fees, so that sellers can bring selection, lower price, no, and can we invest into speed? So there is a strong review mechanism which happens, and
Hmm.
we are on a good path there. I feel good about Amazon's long-term sustainability in India.
Wow, that's incredible, couple. Thank you so much for sharing amazing culture at Amazon. So tell me something, if someone has to build a successful career in Amazon, and what would be key one should, like, maybe couple of skills which you are looking for someone hiring in the teams, and what which should one should do and one should not do for building success in Amazon.
I think first you should know if that's the company you want to work for. So whenever I meet somebody for interviews,
Hmm.
I spend the first 5 to 10 minutes asking them, have you read through the leadership principles of Amazon?
Hmm.
If not, I give them the time to read through the 16 leadership principles. Now, if they can go back with the friction we have in a leadership principle, we have earn trust versus have backbone, right? We
Hmm.
have insist on high standards but bias for action, right? So we have think big and we have frugality. So there
Hmm.
are good tensions on a leadership principle.
Hmm.
If the individual feels comfortable balancing these leadership principles while taking business decision, I think they would really enjoy working at Amazon. If this feels too much for an individual, I always advise them that you should never select us.
Great. Thanks so much for sharing. You have shared very good insights on Amazon, also on e commerce with us. Now it comes to the third and the last section of the podcast with you, which is a rapid fun round with you. So, first question, how did it feel to you when you become CA? Describe that feeling.
Oh, it was a relief that now no longer I have to study. It's done. Second, of course, it was a sense of achievement. So I was very happy.
So, three must have skills for your success.
Again, the same thing I just said: hard work, be kind to people and stuff, and be curious.
What keeps you passionate?
Opportunity to solve big problem statements. So the bigger the problem, the more engaged I am.
What's your favorite holiday destination?
Goa.
Ah, I love it. The favorite movie?
I don't have any particular movie also, but I can tell you the one which I'm following right now. I am following the Prime Video series of Wheels of Time. So I am a lot more into fantasy, magic, or period drama. So
Oh,
anything related to that just helps me. So Wheels of Time is something which I am following right now.
what's the one word your friends describes you?
Talkative and always smiling.
You are always smiling. What is one thing people don't know about you?
There is so many things. But let me just be share some of the not so great part about stuff. I used to have a lot of confidence issues in my teenage. I used to stammer a lot too. So not many people would know that hey, he's a CA ranker who's got a
Hmm.
fortunate to do a lot of things. But I have gone through my ups and downs of building confidence in myself too. So uh, I think life has been kind to me that things have worked out.
This is like very inspiring, couple. We can't even imagine that part of you now. Tell us about three most influential people in your life.
Let me talk about the three generations in my life which is influencing me. I think first is of course my parents. I have learned a lot from them. I think they're the foundation of what who I am right now.
Hmm.
That's been a big influence. My wife is a big influence on my life too. She's in fact my best friend, and she's also the one who keeps on giving me development feedback every day. So it keeps me grounded.
Mm.
Uh, but I just love our interactions, the long walks, and the way she keeps me balanced between work and family life. And the third one are the ones I'm learning the most from is my kids, right? Managing three kids with all different age groups, I'm learning a lot more. So if I have to go back and say where I'm learning the most in my life, is from
Mm.
my parents, my wife, and my kids.
Wow, the entire family supporting you, making you thrive. Great. What's your best investment of time and money which you've ever done?
Money, I don't make enough decisions now. I think my personal money, I try to see that I don't have to look at that more often, because that's not where I'm going to be able to spend my time. My smartest choice has been to let the Amazon share be. It has grown faster than most other investments actively I would have made. On time, again, I think it's just spending the time with my family. I think
Hmm.
sometimes we can be very focused about self development or space, but I have realized that the time I can spend with my family, especially the vacations where I'm not even distracted with work, just go out
Hmm.
and just be switched off from work. I think that's the best investment I can make on myself.
Okay. So, what do you do unwinding a stressful day?
I pick up a phone, and so I've started this practice very recently that when I'm driving back from home to office, the best way to not carry office with you is bring a distraction by the time you get to home. So sometimes I'm calling my parents, I'm listening to radio, but a lot of time now I call up my friends. So I call up all my college friends, my office friends, my old office friends, Unilever, right,
Hmm.
who would not talk work with me,
Hmm.
so that I can generally chat, I can connect with them, stay in tune with what they are doing in their life, no, and in that process, unwind from work,
Hmm.
so that when I get into a home, I'm not thinking of office.
Very nice. If I give you a giant billboard couple that's there, what message you would write on that?
I will write, "You live only once."
The YOLO. You live
Yes,
only once.
yeah,
That's a principle you follow.
yes, that's the principle you should follow. And the other principle you should follow is don't carry baggage of the past, both good, bad, ugly, your achievements or things which you could not achieve, they're all going to go behind, as you progress in life. So live in the present.
Wow, this is actually for me, it's profound. These two both are profound. If you could be remembered for one thing, what would you choose?
Being kind.
Being kind. Yes. Hats off to kindness. What would be your closing message to all of us or to everyone?
No, I would first thank you, Nidhi, for hosting this chat, and I hope everybody who watches this video can get something for their life professional journey. So thank you for the opportunity. I mentioned the three people or three generations which has influenced my life a lot. So thank you to them. I would also want to thank a couple of leaders. There are many leaders who have impacted me, but I'll just mention two leaders who have made big impact. Madhav Samant, who has been my
Hmm.
first boss in Unilever. I mentioned about how his style helped me build as a leader, be more
Hmm.
inclusive. And I would call out my recent ex-boss now. He's moved to North America, Raghava Rao, who gave me an
Hmm.
opportunity to join Amazon and has been my guiding force. I've seen him work hard even after 20 years plus of experience when he was building Amazon India, and even today. I think
Hmm.
the principles they have lived for, I think, are good inspirations for me.
Great. Thank you so much, Kapil, and thank you to your parents, your wife, your kids, and the two people you mentioned, Madhav Samant and Raghav Rao, and all the other leaders and your friends who have supported in your journey. Like and join the Pursuit of Finance and Leadership for helping in your journey. Thank you.